Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Unfortunately, guys, Napoli have been kicked out of the Europa League round of 32, actually, even worse, against Granada. And I'm going to just start off with the player ratings. Guys, apologies once again if there is a poor connection. If this continues, then I'm going to have to change my computer. But if it's fine, do let me know in the comments, guys. Anyways, so let's start off with the player ratings, guys. Because I'm gonna have this picture up here so that you can see my player ratings, guys, so that you guys get a gist of. Yes, Napoli was eliminated, but the individual performances on the field were not all horrible. In fact, I think there was only 2 players that did below average, and that was Elmas, made no contribution positively to the game. Possibly Granada's goal was partially his fault. And then we have Koulibaly with a 5. That's because we'll see in the analysis section coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll see in the analysis section what he did wrong in Granada's goal, caught out of positions. And I can see some of the comments, guys, saying the video's fine, quality's good, great stuff. I'm glad to see that, because actually I'm getting an error message from YouTube, so keep the feedback coming, guys. Anyways, so JXSER saying, bro, the Granada players were wasting so much time at the end. Bro, at the end, they were doing this from the start. Man, I don't know if they thought this was a football field or ice, but these guys had their backside on the floor the whole game. And it's embarrassing because it was really anti-football from Granada at times. That's what it seemed. And someone is at the door. That must be Amazon, guys. So one sec, guys. That is. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Amazon. You know how it is nowadays. But Mertens, someone is saying 6.5. Guys, Mertens, I thought he did come on, did all right, but ultimately I don't think he made as much of a difference as, let's say, the players who I think stood out in the game. So he's rusty, but it's it's getting there. He hasn't played in 2 months, and it is what it is. Guys, smash that like button if you're watching this, because I'm gonna go straight into the pictures, and I'm in a mood to just go and analyze this game from the get-go. And there's something special that I prepared before the game. I was going to make a separate video about this entirely, but actually I decided to include it in this video because it explains this game so much. Anthony saying, Dom, 5 for KK and 6 for Maksimovic. Guys, I didn't think Maksimovic was that bad, to be honest. I don't think the goal that we conceded was Maksimovic's fault, and Koulibaly was giving the ball away so much, and the Granada goal was entirely his fault, 80% at least. So we'll see that in these pictures. So Napoli started off with the 3-4-1-2, guys. It was it was the first time we played this very unique formation, but there's a reason for it, because Gattuso realized that Napoli needs to play more centrally. So I'm going to go to this statistic here that I prepared before the game, explaining why Napoli's been having trouble scoring. All right, take a look at this. This is how Napoli's statistics attacking in the Serie A, and how much we get the ball into the different areas of the attacking third. And you can see here, guys, we are 6th out of 20 on the left, 5th out of 20 on the right, but we're the second worst team attacking centrally. So this can be down to obviously not having a great center forward, because Osimhen was out for 3 months. Petagna came in. He's not really a great center forward. But apart from that, guys, we'd never really attacked centrally. And if you think about a lot of the goals that we concede centrally, and teams are very dangerous centrally. Napoli doesn't do that. So Gattuso, I think, he realized this and said, no, we're going to attack centrally. We're going to put Insigne and Politano in a more central position with Zielinski behind. We're not going to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. It's not working out for me. We need to play centrally. And that's how we got our goals, guys. We attacked centrally. We weren't doing that in the league. We did that today. We got two goals. And then there's another statistic that I prepared. This also explains actually two things. It explains the goal that we conceded, but it also explains the goal that we scored and how Napoli approached this game differently. So let me start off with the positive. All right, so at the bottom of this screen, you can see interceptions, average per game, 9.5, 20th out of 20th in the Serie A in terms of interceptions per game. For your reference, team in first is Verona, playing for Juric, and they have 22 per game. So you can see here the difference between teams, and this explains obviously the goals that we concede were way too passive, but it also explains the goal that we scored as well, because this time Bakayoko finally got in between someone and the pass, recovered the ball, gave it to Zielinski, and Zielinski scored. But that's because he intercepted a ball. He doesn't do that enough usually. So finally Bakayoko did something useful today, and we reap the rewards. When he doesn't do it, then we struggle to score. Let's see. Is this Dom's application for joining the Napoli coaching staff? Napoli, if you're watching this, you know how to find me. Just ring my doorbell, and we're good. I'll sign in a heartbeat. Greenish Kumar saying, Napoli talk. What do you think about the rumors linking our best player Lopatka to Man City? Oh man, you guys crack me up. It always takes us to concede to get the best of us. We should be hungry from the start, i.e. first leg. Christopher Estrada, would you say we can actually get top 4 since we are eliminated from all competitions and can fully focus on performing well? I think that's a good point. I think now that we're finally eliminated from the Europa League, then we can concentrate on just one competition. Gattuso has no excuses not to be training the team enough. But let me continue on with this statistic, guys. So interceptions, we always do that bad, but today we intercepted the ball, we got forward and scored. Aerial duels, 10.5 per game, also 20th in the league, guys. And if you think about it, the goals that we concede are a lot of the time through aerial duels, and not just in the box, which is how we conceded today, or how we conceded against Duvan Zapata against Atalanta, or how we conceded in so many games. I can pick any random game. Napoli-Milan, Ibrahimovic scores from basically outside the box with a header. Pick any game, we always concede with headers, or seem to. But this is not just in the box. This is also in midfield. Winning the ball, then getting into the second balls. We're last in the league for that. So this explains Napoli's issues. And in 2021, I pulled up the statistics of the different teams, guys. Rahmani Maksimovic, the different players that we have in center back, Rahmani Maksimovic, Manolas, and Koulibaly. And they actually all played between, let's say, 6 and 9 games. So more or less, that's fine. As in, they're more or less the same number of games, and you can see how many goals they concede per game. So you've got Rahmani, Maksimovic, Manolas, Koulibaly, all conceding more than 1 goal per game. And this explains why Gattuso today against Granada, where we really didn't want to concede a goal, why he played 3 at the back. Because when playing 2 at the back, it just doesn't work. We concede goals. And the last time we played 3 at the back was against Atalanta, in the Coppa Italia first leg, and it was 0-0. So we didn't concede there. So Gattuso made the decision, okay, at 2 at the back, it's not working out. The 2 center backs, we need 3. Obviously, they still scored today, but you can see that the logic behind why Gattuso put 3 at the back today. Let's see some of... what is GCOF? That's goals conceded on field. So that's how many goals each of these players conceded whilst on the field. Sorry, guys, I didn't explain that. But thanks for pointing that out. Age-wise, he got that. Goals conceded on field. Congrats, man. You guys are starting to read my mind. Guys, there's 43 of you guys tuning in. Smash that like button if you like this approach to analyzing football through stats and little arrows that are coming up your way. Make sure you do that. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Zone marking is so bad to Napoli Boss Gaming. The problem was that Koulibaly was on the right and not central center back. Guys, the problem was Koulibaly's positioning, and we'll see that. But let's start off with chronologically what happened in the game. So you've got Bakayoko intercepting the ball finally, as we said before, and you can see here that once he intercepts the ball, then Zielinski can go on and attack. And this time we decided to attack centrally. Look at Zielinski attacking centrally, but also Insigne and Politano making very central runs, and that's something that Napoli was lacking, as I shown in the previous, in the second to last, in the second slide. Where we don't attack centrally enough. This time we attacked centrally and got the reward. And Zielinski with a beautiful goal in the 2nd minute. Napoli getting off to the best possible start. But then, guys, look at the goal that we conceded. So this is the 24th minute, and look, we're all aligned in a line. You've got Elmas, Koulibaly, Maximovic, Rahmani, and then Di Lorenzo just out of your screen, all right? But then look what happens about 10-15 seconds later. For really no reason at all, Koulibaly just goes out of the line, something that he should never be doing, because really he needs to be staying there and let Bakayoko deal with that player. But he gets out of the position. Ultimately, he gets passed by this player, and the ball's pushed wide. And once the ball is pushed wide, then really Elmas, who's not used to playing left back, he doesn't close in enough on the crosser of the ball. But really the issue is, yes, we gave away a cheap cross. Elmas doesn't push enough, but Koulibaly is not there in the box to help out. And but it must be said that even if Koulibaly is not there in the box, Napoli still had a 3 versus 3 situation. So, okay, it's 3 versus 3, but if a ball comes into this box, we should be able to deal with it. We've got enough players in there to deal with it. Everyone's marking pretty much. They know where their man is. They're in position pretty much. But then this happens, which is crazy for me. So Rahmani gets beaten in the air, and you've got Montoro, who's got 181 centimeters to him, or 5'9". Rahmani is 192 centimeters, or 6'3". So there's a big height difference between the two players, but Rahmani just doesn't jump high enough, gets caught out with the flight of the ball, and that's a bad mistake from a center back. You should not get beaten like that. But if we go back to that slide that I had earlier, we saw that Napoli aerial duels won 20th out of 20th in Serie A. We just cannot get our head to these balls. So that's a really, really big issue by Napoli, and that's why we conceded a goal. And it was almost inevitable, guys, because we saw the statistics that we've conceded over 1 goal a game for months now. So, coming and playing this game and not conceding a goal is almost, dreamland thinking. let's see what some of you guys are saying. The marking and pressing we do is poor, and our attacking creativity is dwindling, so we get possession, no goals, and counter-attacked. We need Lozano back. We need more support on the attack. I think Zielinski had 3-4 opportunities to shoot. Do you think he could have scored more than once? Yeah, I think we could have as a team scored several goals. Osam Comedy is saying, I think the problem is not Koulibaly, the problem is man marking in the box. That's also, another point there. But when it was a 3 versus 3, then you've got to man mark. So if Koulibaly had stayed in line, then playing 4 against 3, you could have zonal marked. But when you're 3v3, then you really should be man marking. The problem is that it's about how you man mark. I have no problem with either zonal marking or man marking. I think both philosophies are completely fine. It's then up to the players to interpret those philosophies and to make sure that they're looking at the ball, they know where their player is at the same time, and timing their jumps. It's really that simple. But Rahmani didn't do that here. Aldrian Dali is saying also Meret not reactive. Meret could have definitely done a bit more. I mean, if you look at where this ball is right now, on the moment of impact, he's 11 yards away. So surely Meret should have done better. But I think it was a good header. At the end of the day, it went in the top corner, curled in. I think any striker would have been happy with that. Meret definitely should have definitely done better. But let's move on with the game. So we've had different chances to score. We had the Insigne free kick, guys. Smash that like button. But ultimately, the game, throughout the chances that Napoli had, the game was just wasted with Granada players going down. I think I counted 6 fatalities, about 3 headshots. The ambulance had to come in 20 times, something like that, guys. It was actually a ridiculous display by Granada. These are grown men on the field, and they were acting like I don't know, like they were at war, not on a football field. And the ref had no control over these players. He had some horrible refereeing. For the slightest of touches, he'd give Napoli a yellow. For other things, he'd let play go on. Just scandalous by the referee. But anyways, Napoli in the second half switched it up. Gulam came on instead of Maksimovic. We moved to a 4-4-2. Then Elmas came off and we put in Mertens. And Napoli started to create a few chances. But this one here is worked really well. Gulam with a great ball into Politano. We see that this is a classic move by Napoli. Mario Rui does this quite a lot as well when he plays. Politano lays it off to Elmas, and Elmas straight at the keeper, guys. And this we still had so much time in this game. If Elmas had scored this, that I think maybe it could have ended differently if Elmas had scored this goal. But once again, Elmas, sometimes when it really matters, he's not there. And once he missed this opportunity, he disappeared, and Mertens came on soon after, because Elmas is a bit like that. Gattuso said it in a press conference recently, saying that Elmas, when he misses a few passes or a shot, then he just gets depressed. Tobagu saying the Granada players were wasting so much time, the game got boring. Yep, exactly. The game was very blocked. It was very static at times, just because there was just, in the first half we had 6 minutes of added time. In the second half we had 7. So we played an extra 15 minutes than, the 90. So that really showed. I've never seen 6 minutes in a first half. Carl Eba saying Gulam does it better than Mario Rui. I think they both do it okay, but yeah, Gulam definitely had a really good game. And I mean, if we go to the player ratings, guys, you can see here I put Gulam 7 alongside the goal scorers Zielinski and Fabian, and we're gonna get into Fabian's goal in a second. So this is Fabian's goal, guys. So Zielinski collects the ball, and this is why I loved Zielinski, guys, because Zielinski, he was facing our own goal, but instead of passing it back to, let's say, Koulibaly or Gulam, to Koulibaly or Rahmani, what he does is that he turns around. He always collects the ball, and his first thought is going forward. So anyone that, there's a few people that are very critical of Zielinski, but he's one of the few players that likes to go forward. And that's his first thought in his mind. He only passes it backwards when he's really got no other choice. So he takes it, turns, immediately passes it to Insigne, waiting centrally this time. Fabian starts making the run. That's crucial. Fabian understands the play. He understands the play. Insigne gets the ball. And look, everyone is charging forward now. And everyone's in. Look, this is another central attack. We talked about it at the start of the stream. It's another central attack. Insigne gets the ball. Fabian's running, gives it to Fabian, and Fabian puts the ball in the back of the net. And at this point, we still have 30 minutes to play. We needed 2 more goals at this point. But it's another counter-attack, let's say. Very vertical play by Napoli, just like in the first goal. And credit to Gattuso. I mean, Vetsu Oggi is saying it right here in the chat. He's saying Gattuso deserves more credit. I think we played really good. The best match ever since the Super Cup. I think he deserves credit when it's due. I do agree. Listen, I'm pointing out the things that we did positively here, which is fair enough. We went and attacked. We had a very positive outlook. But here's why I gave him a 6.5, Vetsu. Because when we were 1-0 up, we started defending. We didn't push on. And we let Granada take the ball. We let them push us back. They had a good spell of 10-15 minutes where I think a good team with a manager that really wants to go and win the game, what that team does is that they crush the opposition. When they're at their best, we just scored. They go and they crush the opposition. They keep the pressure on. They keep going and playing positive, attractive football. Instead, Napoli scored a goal, and basically it's almost as if they thought, "Ooh, right now we better not concede. We better, play it safe." But when Napoli play it safe, we struggle. We're not good at controlling the game. We don't have that aspect to us. It's either we go and outscore the opposition or we concede a goal. So that's what we needed to do. We needed to outscore because, guys, otherwise we concede a goal. And if Gattuso hasn't realized this, then something's wrong with how he's interpreting Napoli's games, because we're not a team that can just lift off the foot from the pedal for 45 minutes and then in the 75th say, okay, let's go now and get the second goal. Napoli doesn't work that way. Napoli has to always be pushing to attack, otherwise we concede. We always do. We always do. Whenever we get pressured, we concede. So that's why I gave him a 5.5 for that, because I think he interpreted the game badly, and ultimately that cost us. So yeah, that's just my interpretation of it. But guys, in the end, we had different chances here and there. But look, guys, I mean, this is another reason why I think Koulibaly gets a 5 in my rating. So not only did I think it was his fault that we conceded the first goal, and I could be wrong, but he also messed up a lot of touches and passes, which led to Granada having a few chances. But also in this occasion, he's the one that is continuing the protest, is continuing to waste, and he gets a yellow card and all that. Whereas he should just be thinking, right, we need to score some goals. We're losing this. We need to score some goals. Let's just stop wasting time and let's get on with the game. And we got 7 minutes added on, but I mean, it was ridiculous. And you can see Gattuso's reaction here saying, this is impossible, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it was the Napoli players as well getting caught up in the fights. The fights go two ways, guys. you can either decide to, engage with the fight and you're wasting more time, or you can decide to just back off and keep concentrating on the game. And we didn't do that. It broke us up in terms of momentum. And then another reason why Gattuso gets a 5.5 from me instead of higher. We have been extremely dangerous from corners, like in this situation where I don't know how we didn't score, with Gulam getting his head on this. We've been extremely dangerous in crosses recently. So the 2 goals that we scored against Atalanta, they were crosses by Politano. This opportunity here was Gulam almost scoring. 5 minutes before this, we had Bakayoko that scored with the header, but it was ruled out because he pushed someone. But what I'm saying is that I noticed that over the last few weeks, let's say a month and a half, we've been extremely dangerous from crosses. Because we've got players now, like Rahmani, we had Bakayoko, like Gulam on the field that are actually quite good at this sort of stuff. And we didn't exploit it. So I'm thinking, why did we play so many corners short? We had so many situations where the ball was played short, and they were quite wasteful. We were putting on the pressure on Granada with these crosses. They couldn't handle them, but we didn't do enough. I think if we had done a bit more with our corners, then we would have been better off, guys. And let's go to the stats, because I think we need to analyze Napoli's performance as a whole. So, I think overall it was a good performance. 22 shots, 7 on target. That's a pretty good ratio. Unfortunate only to get 2 goals. Their keeper had 1 or 2 good saves. Everything else was all right. I like the fact that we had almost 600 passes, but only 81% pass accuracy. I like it. I like it that it's not too high, because it means that we were going and trying to play vertical passes. Those type of passes, they're not going to be 100% every single time. You're going to mess up a few. You're going to get a few intercepted, but at least you're trying to go forward. What I didn't want to see was 600 passes with 95% pass accuracy, because that just means you're playing it around the back. I also don't want to see 66% pass accuracy, which is what we see from Bakayoko. But 80% is the sweet spot, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Dom, do you think that we can get top 4 with Gattuso? I don't think so. I think maybe now that we are out of the Europa League and injuries are people who are injured are going to start coming back, I think there's a higher possibility than if we had actually passed today's game. So who knows? I think in the last 3 or 4 games of the season, we're still going to be around 4th spot. It's going to be, 4th, 5th, something like that, and then it's all to play for. But I think a lot of it will depend on the games that we play against Milan, Lazio, Inter, those type of games, I think. Because right now, the other games against teams like, let's say, Sassuolo or Cagliari or, these type of teams, Bologna, I think we're going to be okay in those games because we're going to have all week to prepare for them. So there's not going to be that tiredness element that would normally affect a team playing European football. So I'm not worried about those type of games, but so I think we'll be okay with those, which will get us quite a few points. But we need to start winning the Inter games, the Milan games, the Lazio games, the Roma games, all those things, and obviously against Juventus. That's going to be important. That's going to be important, guys. And you can see, guys, continuing on with the stats. Look at how many fouls. 14 for Napoli, 18 for Granada, 11 yellow cards, and 7 offsides for Napoli. That's also a good sign that we were trying to play very vertically. We were trying to get in behind Granada. I like to see those things. Obviously, you want a bit more accuracy. You don't want to be caught out 7 times. But the intention was good. The intention was good, guys. And before I go on to look at Napoli's next few games, let's see what you guys are saying, because there's a few messages and I really want to make sure, since you guys smash that like button as always, I want to make sure I get to read some of your comments. So Anthony Navarro saying, yeah, I take that yellow every day of the week. We have, I'm not sure what you guys are. We have 100. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Anthony. Sorry, I missed the earlier conversation you're having. Kevin Perry saying, do I think Gattuso's worried to get counterattacks on corners? I can't think of any other reason at this point. They're so bad when they do short corners. You know, that's a fair point. It could be. I just think that maybe they're trying to switch it up, or they don't believe in themselves. They almost don't believe that they're good at corners. They still think that we're not aerially a threat. But actually, we need to start believing in ourselves. You know, sometimes you're so in your head about some stuff that even if you're good at it, then you don't try it because you don't believe in yourself. So Napoli, in the first 6 months, they weren't good at corners, and now it's almost like they carry this stigma around and they don't try. But we have improved. We need to have more confidence to believe in ourselves and try those type of corners more often, because especially when Rahmani and Gulam are on the field, you know, I think we can get a few good headers in there. So Anthony is saying, for us, it's just top 4. I do agree. Let's keep that in mind. Guys, we're still on track for top 4 finish, but, you know, it's complicated. There's a lot of teams there. As I said, we have to start winning all our next games. Greenish Kumar saying, I see a lot of Napoli fans asking Gattuso to play the Primavera players. Let me just remind you this. Our Primavera got relegated last season. That's how bad our youth is. Look, that's a fair point. That is, you know, we don't have superstars. And I did a video on these kids, and I didn't say they were superstars. They're not horrible either. They have nothing, and I mean this, guys. They have nothing bad about them compared to other players their same age. You see players playing in Serie A, Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga teams their age that are just as good as Cioffi. The difference is that all it takes is a few games for these people in the top flight with a senior squad, and they improve massively. But you got to give them that chance. Guys, I live in the UK. I follow Liverpool quite a lot. I like Liverpool. All right. Curtis Jones, he's now starting for Liverpool. One of their best players this season. Okay, he's 19. He played against Napoli in the Youth Cup, in the UEFA Youth League 2 years ago. Okay. The difference between Curtis Jones and the Primavera Napoli players is that in the meantime of those 2 years, Curtis Jones has made several appearances for Liverpool, and he messed up a few of them. I remember first game of the season, Leeds Liverpool, 4-3 for Liverpool, but as soon as Curtis Jones comes on, Leeds score the third goal, his fault. You know what Klopp did the next game? He started him to tell him, you know what, yeah, you messed up, it's fine. Now you learned your lesson, you're not going to do this again. But they're so young, they've got such a steep learning curve, and they're going to learn so fast that you actually don't know what they'll become. And now this kid is one of the best players on that team. But it wasn't, you know, he didn't start off that way. He was having a few bad performances when he first started playing for that team. So what I'm saying is, you know, yeah, we don't have Messi in the youth team, but we've got players we can work with, definitely, guys. Definitely. You know, there's nothing wrong with Cioffi. There's nothing wrong with Zedatka. They're going to develop into good players if you give them time. Just like, you know, we never really gave Sepe a chance. And now Sepe's with Parma. And, you know, he's like their best player. Parma is doing horribly in the league. But if it wasn't for Sepe last year, they would have maybe gotten relegated last year. So, you know, you've got to give the young players a chance to play. And there's also another thing, guys. The Primavera plays a different system from how Napoli play. The Primavera plays a 3-4-2-1, which is what similar to what we played today. and you've got players like, let's say, Cioffi, who would rather play a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, so a bit wider, and that affects them. So, you know, just because they're one thing in the youth team doesn't mean they're gonna be that same level playing for the senior team, guys. So, but I understand your point. You know, we just have to test them out to see, is what I'm saying. If we don't test them out, we'll never know. Let's see some of the more recent comments, guys. Anthony saying, how dare you like an EPL team? I'll explain, Anthony. So I lived abroad when I was very little, and it was a time when Napoli was in Serie C, and because they were in Serie C, I couldn't get Napoli's games on television. So, you know, I was in Asia at that time. We couldn't get Napoli games, third division on television. I had to watch something. I had to watch some football. And, you know, in Asia, they love the Premier League. So I had to pick a Premier League team. So it was the team I was following as a kid until Napoli got into Serie B. And then in Serie B, actually, we could watch some of the Napoli games. And but then I've always kind of seen Liverpool, like, whenever I have time on the side. Yeah, guys. So that's the background story of who I support. Let's see. Carl Ebba saying, Liverpool have a consortium of owners, not a buffone that uses show and movie special effects to fool everyone into thinking that his toy is just as big as the other toys. Oh man, that cracked me up. Yeah, guys. You know, other clubs have different ownerships styles than Napoli. Napoli is a very much De Laurentiis is the man, you know, and no one else decides anything except him. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. He got us out of Serie C and into the Champions League. And yeah, we've had a bad 2 years recently, but I think a lot of it was down to the players. Dante saying Liverpool talk coming soon. No, guys, Napoli talk is already Napoli talk is enough for sure. I'm not as invested in Liverpool, don't worry. But you know, because of that thing of my youth, and because I live in the UK now, you know, it's a team that I have an eye on every once in a while. But let's interact with this page here. All right, those games we did. Let's scroll down. We've got Benevento, Sassuolo, Bologna, guys. 3 games that Gattuso needs to win. Because after that it's Milan, Roma, and if we have any chance of getting into the top 4, we need 9 out of 9 points in the next 3 games. I don't care. I don't care how. I don't care, you know, whatever. It needs to start from Benevento. I know that they just played against Granada today, but they need to start. They need to start here. So, you know, because after these 2 games, Milan, Roma, are super important. And who knows, maybe Milan's gonna get dragged into that top 4 fight, because, you know, they've lost 4 points or 5 points in recent games, in the recent 2 games, because they drew and they lost. So, you know, who knows, maybe their form is over. Anyways, let's see what Gattuso says, because unlike last week, he did make a press conference. All right, and let's see. So actually, let's see first what he had to say at Sky Sports. Now, at Sky Sports, guys, he's treated quite well. The questions that he gets are not so tough, because you know, his friends work at Sky Sports from his Milan days. So yeah, they don't really go as hard as I'd like. But, you know, let's read out what he had to say. So Gattuso, guys. Gattuso saying, today we didn't miss anything. We conceded an absurd goal once again today after one shot. We need to be, however, proud, and we need to also be disappointed in the result. In the last 10 days, in the 2 games against them, we demonstrated that we have something a bit more than them. We need to be respected when we go onto the field. If an Italian team does what they did today against Granada, then we go on all the... Guys, Gattuso's saying some weird... I don't get his press conferences recently, He's saying if an Italian team does what they did today against Granada, then we should be on all the papers. I don't know what that even means, what he's trying to mean by that. In the first half, we played 16 to 17 minutes of effective time. In the second half, even less. Granada basically were not playing football, so that means that the ball was always out. I think that we need to have a bit more respect and be respected. Also, he's basically talking about respect as in the ref. So he's saying the ref goes out there and he needs to make sure that the game is played. We can't waste 3 minutes every time the ball is stopped. If an Italian team does this, then we get massacred by every newspaper. But, if a Spanish team does it, then no one bats an eye. Okay, that's what he was saying about the Granada game. He's got a point. Granada were on the ground all game Granada. On the game, he says, we risked a little more. We played 1-against-1 in defense. In this moment, we need to recover energies. We need to work on our enthusiasm and regain confidence in the way we play and our style. Today, we wasted a lot of energy. In 2 days, we have another really important games, and we need to continue. In the meantime, we are waiting for players to come back from injury. Those that will come back will help us out massively. The team needs to remain calm. People here need to only get mad at me, but please don't get mad at the players. The decision to play and 3 or 4 at the back is my fault. I'm the responsible person, so please don't take it out on the players if they mess up some movements. Okay, that's pretty good from Gattuso, saying, taking responsibility. That's what I want him to do more often, so props to him. I'll give him credit where credit's due. This shirt is very heavy. The players know this, and they need to play for it. They need to sweat in this shirt. We need to work hard, and it's months that we're doing it, but we still haven't got the full results. We need to remain calm and give a little bit more, but I'm the responsible one. They just need to think about doing the best they can. They ask him whether he thinks that Napoli is able to get a few wins in a row, and they're saying if we don't get depressed, then yes, we can do a few wins in a row. We still are missing 16 games, and there's a lot to recover. There's a lot of points still available. We need to look forward, and we need to become a team that we need to become the team that we know we can become. We are messing up way too many concepts, but it's normal if you want to start from the back and you can't practice that every day, then it's tough. So Gattuso's saying basically, we're a team that wants to play from the back, but in order to play from the back, you've really got to be on the training ground every day, practicing those movements, practicing that chain. And to be fair, he's got a point. It's very difficult to practice that when half the team's injured, when you don't get a chance to play. But listen, Gattuso, now you're out of the Europa League, you're out of the Coppa Italia. No excuses. You've got still 15 games in the Serie A, something like that, to play for. So we expect results in the next 15 games because, no excuses from now on, okay? Let's see. What about Gulam? They ask him. And Gattuso saying, well, if Gulam is going to keep playing like this, then of course he's got a chance to play some more. Today he put in a lot of good quality, a lot of effort. He can definitely help us out. In this moment, we need everybody. We're a team that that scores a lot with players on the bench because the squad is very important. We've got a good squad of 23 players. Now, a lot of them are missing, but we hope to have them all available very, very soon. So, guys, so he's saying that Gulam is, an important player for him, which is good because we really didn't see Gulam in the last few years, basically. And they ask him about Mertens also coming back from injury, and he's saying he came on much better than in the previous times. His ankle hurts him a lot less, and his running is a lot more fluid. Today we exaggerated a bit. We should have only given him 10 or 15 minutes, but we wanted to recover the game. But we had to do what we had to do. And they asked him about Osimhen and whether he's going to play on Sunday against Benevento. And Gattuso says, well, it doesn't really depend on me. He had a concussion and lost his senses. The responsibility is not even of our doctor, but the protocol of this case. So we don't know if he's going to be available. As in, the Serie A states that if you've had a concussion, you should take a week off, basically. So, it's not even up to the doctor to decide. It's literally a protocol. Lorenzo Mora saying we should play 3-4-2-1 again against Benevento. I wouldn't disagree with that because I liked it. I liked us attacking centrally, but again, it depends on the team, on the other team as well, right? So it worked with Granada because Granada play a certain way. Benevento, you might want to stretch them out a bit more. Benevento are going to be sitting deep much more than Granada. You want to have wide players that stretch them out. So, one thing that we could do is raise, let's say if Gulam plays, raise Gulam and Di Lorenzo very wide like we did in the second half. And, then we can stretch them out that way and put Insigne and Politano more central. But in the second half, we were actually playing a 4-4-2. So it's not really a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-1-2. So then Gattuso's press conference before was his interview with Sky. And now his press conference with journalists from all over. He says they ask him what's the feeling like at the moment, and Gattuso says we need to recover our energy, we need to find the time to analyze our performances, and today for a lot of the time it was really good. The goal we could have avoided. It was stupid that we conceded that goals. But we need to recover energy and men, and in 2 weeks we'll be able to work normally every day with a full team, more or less. If you want to play from the back like we did, we need to practice that a bit more. The players need to give it their all. They do give it their all, but we need even more. And they don't have to worry about the critiques that the fans have. I want the fans to know that I'm the responsible one. I assume all the responsibilities. I want the team to be calm, serene. They need to make less mistakes, and they make the mistakes because we don't train every day, and so it's difficult at times. But once we're complete with a complete team, then we can be very dangerous. And that's true, guys, because in the first half of the season we were probably the team that played the best football in Italy. So Anthony Navarro saying, well, both Insignes are scoring on Sunday. The game is Sunday, Anthony. So Sunday 6 p.m. Italy time is the game. In the second half, they ask him, in the second half. We played well with a 4-man defense. Was it maybe not better to play like that from the start of the second half or from the start of the game? And Gattuso saying, well, we wanted to force them in attack more. Granada put us in a lot of pressure, actually. I prefer to play with 3 and have more physicality in the box. But then with the 1-1, we needed to have an extra player that would go up. So we went 4-4-2, which is actually just keeping 2 defenders back. And they say, well, this time you had the reaction. There was a lot of, group spirit. And he's saying, we messed up a lot of games. A lot of the times we didn't enter the field the way we needed to. We need to do something about it, because it's not just a matter of tactical or technical mistakes, but we need to make sure that we're there mentally, and we need to make sure that in the league we are there mentally, because there's a lot of points at stake. Napoli is used to in the last few years do a lot of points, and it's the second year where I don't know what he's saying there, but yeah, he's basically saying like we need to go back and play. We need to go back and play the way we know how to play. We're used to doing a lot of points. We need to just refine our confidence. The players are still the same, but yeah, he takes the blame. So good props to Gattuso for taking the blame. I think this was finally a good press conference. I think he called out the ref at the start, which is good. Definitely is something that he needed to do, because guys, I mean, Italian clubs in the last 3 days have gotten absolutely I'm trying to find a good word here. They got treated unfairly. Atalanta, I don't think it was a red card. I think that shouldn't have been a red card. Yes, last man. Yes, goal scoring opportunity, but it wasn't a bad tackle. It was honestly the guy tried to play the ball. So that was bad. And other things happened as well. So we got unlucky. Napoli got unlucky, and with the ref, I think with another ref, it could have been a different game. Granada stopped the game too much, ruined our flow, and yeah, but still, guys, I'm actually kind of glad that with our performance, I think there was a reaction, as Gattuso said. I saw some good things. I like the fact that we played vertically, and we just need to keep doing that, guys. We need to keep going vertically, and I think if we do that, then for sure we're going to be within the fighting chance of top 4. And yeah, let's see also what Atalanta, Juventus, and Roma do in the Europa League and Champions League, and hopefully, because they're still in those competitions, they've still got some games to play. Then because of that, then potentially they're going to lose a few points in the league. So whereas Napoli, they've just got the Serie A now, which is maybe a good thing considering how many injured players we have. Anyways, guys, so that's really it from me today. I'm just going to bring up the player ratings for anyone new that's joined, and just a reminder, guys, to smash that like button. Subscribe to Napoli Talk. If you haven't yet subscribed, do check out my I always point my finger the wrong way. It's always camera's flipped. Do check out my Twitter, my Instagram. I'm very active on that. Do check out the Discord link, which is in the description of the video. I don't run that Discord, but I pop in there once or twice. All the Napoli fans are there. They speak football like 24/7. I can't even keep up. So if you're mad about Napoli, then definitely go check out that Discord page. If you haven't, it's a good place to be in between games. During games, they're quite active. And yeah, guys, thanks for joining in. Disappointing result, but hey, Serie A, we're gonna get top 4, guys. I believe it. I believe it. All right. So, guys, thank you. And as always, even in defeat, well, we didn't lose, but we won the game. But even when we don't qualify, we still love this team. We take the good with the bad with the good, and as Stream Elements is saying, smash that like button, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.